let's get this started here. So we're going to have to regenerate a streaming key. All I'm doing is I'm just logged in here. I'm going to set this down because we only need this screen. Again, I know this is not an ideal sort of thing, right? It actually looks like I'm now currently live, though. Is it still showing me as live? As my experience, we're not live on the desktop yet. And yet, we seem to be live. So I guess streaming keys are just persistent. Does anyone know anything about streaming keys specifically? Is this appearing? Is this appearing? See, this is a fraught process. I'm hearing an echo. No, that's not good. You know how easy it is to click that end button? You know how easy it is to click that end button, right? The only reason this live is still going is because it's dependent on the phone. So if you are looking to grow your audience in any area that you might be, it's important to note that you need phones. And specifically, I would recommend 2 phones for citizen journalists, citizen developers, and things like that. Why? Because, gosh, God damn it, sorry, I said PG, but it's the most stable way. And it's the way that most people have access to. A surprising number of people in the United States have access to 2 phones, and they're not bad phones either. They're late model Android and or iPhone devices. I've seen it with my own eyes. All kinds of different economic strata. Okay, so we are live, right? I've been shit posting on LinkedIn. I'm getting a lot of views. If you want advice on LinkedIn besides follow me, LinkedIn, if you want to triple your views on LinkedIn or target that market, then be as vile and vituperative as possible. Be mean and call people out. I know it's vicious and ugly, but that's, if it bleeds, it leads on LinkedIn. It's an internal contradiction. Karl Straub, guten Morgen, sind Sie, oder guten Tag, kommen Sie aus Deutschland? I try to keep my lives as multilingual as possible. Je parle français un peu. Ich spreche Deutsch. Eu falo português. Español. ¿Hablas español? Es okay. I learned Portuguese. I see you, Carl. I see you. Thank you for your contributions. Go down here. Hey, but Mystery City. Yeah, I appreciate your engagement. You need, if you ever need to go, let me know. But I'm also currently banned from Book Talk. Yeah, Portuguese. I've learned it from Book Talk. I learned it from battles on Book Talk. I've posted about this. I've posted some of my battles. I write a book called AFL the Bastard. That's EATHEL. Now, since our live has failed, and this is just me as a guy on the ground, unemployed, about to lose his health insurance next month, right? I can be a citizen developer. If I can be a citizen developer, a lot of people can too, okay? And what works for me will work for a lot of other people. What does not work for me won't, I think, right? That's the thesis. That's the hypothesis or the thesis, whatever you want to do it. And that's the only haggle we will get into on this live stream. My book is called AFL the Bastard. It is the story of the son of a powerful duke who has to fight against enemies inside and out to protect the country that he loves, all while guarding a secret that is so dark it would destroy everything that he loves. Now, let's back up a little bit. It's the story of William the Conqueror and the pre-Angevin Empire Western Europe transposed into a kind of magical universe, parallel. Very hard magic systems, and 2 of them if you're into fantasy and rigorously detailed stuff, and just a little bit of magic. Yes, I've been trying to do lives on YouTube. Stephanie, welcome in. I see you. So I'm going to take advantage of some of this stuff, right? Like I said, I would usually be broadcasting on TikTok Live, but like I said, I'm banned from there until May the 26th. After a bad date, I did a really raw live where I wound up screaming into the microphone. It wasn't pretty. I'm not going to post anything from that live video, but it was out there. Yeah. It's the second time I've been banned from Book Talk Live. So if you do wind up on Book Talk, there is a huge market there, and it's not just all A Court of Thorns and Roses. However, I will go on the record as saying this, okay? I read the first two A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm here for it. You know? They're like a gothic kind of, fairy tale. That's like my bread and butter. That's like my element. As Pop Smoke said, my element. I'm in my element. But it's not all that, right? My favorite book is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I put that there. I put by John Rawls A Theory of Justice up there, right? I do all kinds of different things. So I usually like to get the live kicked off with some music. Usually we play Glorilla. Right now I'm going to play Big X the Plug. Again, this is to kind of emphasize that my lives are a little bit freewheeling, and I expect people to come and go. Couldn't get into Court of Thorns and Roses. I get that. I like reading too. That is, I like the hard stuff, but at the same time, I love to have fun when I read, and that is an element that I hope comes across in my book, AFL the Bastard. And you can find it by quick live kind of commercial break, so to speak. You can click my name up here, Sam Liebl, and it should say AFL the Bastard under there. You can subscribe to me for free, and the book is free. Okay? This is the live indicator, and it will show you on live how many people have been to your live. Margaret Williams, ACC and Master of Sciences, welcome in. I see you. We're doing a live to demonstrate how the Substack Live is only possible or really feasible via the phone. We tried broadcasting, and there's a record of us broadcasting that'll get released automatically by the Substack marketing machine. However, thank you. I see you there. I see you in a good way, like in a non-creepy way. Anyway, we're also talking about Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm about to put on some music, take a quick break, but you have to be very careful because end is right up. If I wanted to show you my, bum apartment, we can focus on the books there. Can we zoom? We can't zoom like we can on TikTok, or it's not working currently. This is all data. It's intended to be useful, hard data. I was going to post a guide, but now I can't really endorse going live on anything but a phone. Usually I simulcast these on Book Talk, or TikTok, but I've currently been banned from there for getting too real after a bad date. So that's kind of like my vibe on social media. But if you do nothing else, subscribe for free to my book, AFL the Bastard. It is free. I will take anything. Promotion. My health insurance runs out at the end of the month. I'm running out of my medications. So that's why I simulcast on Book Talk. You have to put in the hours on places where your readers actually are. On Substack, it's just a bunch of people who are writers, and writers suck as a target market, okay? I say this as a writer, all right? Writers suck. They're petty, jealous, and they don't pay for shit. And I came onto Substack with 10 subscriptions ready to go. And over time, I found people that I admired, and I paid for their work. And you know what? Nobody ever subscribed to me back. That's okay. No one owes me their time and attention. That is okay, right? I get it. That said, if you really want to build a genre fiction audience on Substack, then you better practice what you preach. Okay? Pay for at least one other subscription. I'm not saying necessarily mine. Hey, Dewey, I see you. Dewey. Welcome in. So think about that, right? You can't make a living if you don't have an audience. And I'm tired of doing the yeoman's work of bringing all these people into Substack. I grew my Substack from 0 to 1,000, almost 1,000 inside of 3 months. I need some help, guys. If you're not going to pay, then help me bring in more people, right? I'm a pretty pragmatic guy. I get it. I don't want to subscribe to a bunch of stuff, but I gave myself a budget, 10, and, nobody paid for shit.
So shame on you, Substack. If you want to grow a genre fiction market audience, well, you have to make a market first. So think about that, Substack. If you really want to encourage people to get on your platform, use me for your creators fund. Help me build you an audience for genre fiction here in collaboration with several key. I get it, Melissa. I get it. I get it. I get it. I failed to make a serial novel on Substack, and I did everything that I could. I failed. Now I have to backtrack, compile it into a novel with an editor, and it is miserable. So I may die within the next 2 months because those are the failings of the United States economy. Our president is a felon who couldn't get a job at the company that fired me, and yet is going to be our representative if the aliens arrive. If anyone knows of any opportunity, including those pushing mops and cleaning toilets, I'm here for it. Anywhere inside of the Raleigh-Durham Triangle area, I will drive. I have reliable transportation. I have a car. I have a lot of skills. I have no criminal record. I have an undergraduate degree, and I'm smart. I learn quick, and I'm innovative and a creative mind. I think I could bring a lot of value to any organization. That said, don't go to my LinkedIn because that's where I get raw. Okay? Now, again, if you want to blow up on LinkedIn, be vile, horrible, and call people out by name. I'm not happy that that's the way it is, but LinkedIn is hypocrisy made into a social media network. Now, I don't know what it started as. It used to be kind of cool. It was sort of like a live resume, right? That said, whatever it once was, it now is no more. That's why my tagline on LinkedIn is the last bastion of bland speech. I need to look into substitute teaching, things like that, but I really just, that would be to admit defeat, you know? So I psychologically, before I start door dashing, I'm just getting myself prepared. Maybe that's weakness. I don't know. All right, I need to take a break. I'll put on the music that I promised. If you have any requests before the music begins, please let me know. I have a very organized kind of, and yet out of order way of like framing my thoughts and speaking. So that is why I love lives, because I don't have to remember to everything. And the Substack marketing machine, which is a gift to everyone. Substack is dual. I see everything in twos. I'm obsessed with the number 2. And 3 kind of. But anyway, and I suppose 5 because that's what they add up to. That said, let me walk over to music and I'll probably remember it while I'm doing that. Oh, I'm going to go on a break, put on some music. I need to find my stand here. And I come from the TikTok live world, right? Currently, I'm banned from there. I posted a video after a bad date that got pretty raw. I may have said something along the lines of chivalry is dead, women killed it, and men deserve it, and we all deserve each other. And my TikTok live on so men face double standards when dating. The movie Anora recently, I think, really got this home. Now, women face triple, quadruple, quintuple standards. So we're comparing apples to oranges here, right? I know that. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I'm only talking about my limited personal experience. Now, so as Anora kind of identified, you're either a creep and a rapist. As you remember, remember Mikey Madison's character accuses the enforcer, Igor, of being a rapist when he doesn't want to rape her. So the guy doesn't want to rape her and is not a rapist. She accuses him of being that. When that tactic doesn't work to get under his skin because she has trouble accepting love that's not transactional, she goes to another tactic, which is to call him a pussy and dickless, right? So that's the double standard that men face online. That can be ameliorated by integrating your personality, I think. And this is only my limited experience, right? I'm just a straight, white, heterosexual guy. I'm limited by that, right? I try to be always cognizant about that. But that's why I was banned from TikTok Live. As I frame and go through, this is sort of like a process of writing, in a way. But the Substack marketing machine is a boon to authors. That was the dual thing that I was talking about. It is a boon to everyone. So what I do typically is go live in TikTok, engage with the Book Talk audience by giving them some kind of entertainment, either by, and I know that I'm not for everybody, clearly. That said, I wasn't for my former employer. You be entertaining and yet kind of wend the conversation back into books, literature, etc. And gradually you start to pick up audience members. I'm going to lose all of them because I made the mistake of being honest. But that's the thing about the TikTok live that I was talking about. I was complaining about how men aren't heard for the struggles that they face and the loneliness. I believe in the male loneliness epidemic because I'm lonely, I'm a man, and I'm involuntarily celibate, at least as of today. After that, it was the third, I was complaining about not being heard and TikTok banned me. So that's kind of a perfect little, that joke tells itself. You know what I'm talking about? I got banned for saying men aren't heard. I don't know. Anyway, more women aren't heard than men. I always have to put in the disclaimer that women have it much harder than men and face far more contradictions in society. And that's not the way it should be. It's wrong. That said, men can hurt too and women can be mean. And this woman was mean to me. And I get it. I've been rejected so many times that like my heart's scarred up, right? My heart's not even broken. It's all scarred up. But, just let me know, just let me know. I'm not going to do anything bad. I really am not. I'm going to say, I'm going to be, depending on how much of my soul I've divulged to you, I might take it poorly. Eric McLaughlin, welcome in. I see you down there. Welcome in. Depending on how much I've divulged, and I tend to let it hang all out there, in one sense at least, but I just put myself online and, yeah. This is what being an independent creator looks like in 2025. Following your dreams is fucking overrated. And shame on Substack for not supporting genre fiction, because you should. Although my life has gotten better since I got on Substack, and I'm grateful for that. And I think it has a lot of potential. And it does a good job of democratizing the tools of commerce and agents. At the same time, it's kind of like an OnlyFans for writers. The stuff that gets the most traction is OnlyFans stuff. To wit, I had sex last night and I feel weird, and similar posts. News and, I suppose, nonfiction essays of any general topic. Long form text. In that area, in that regard, it is truly valuable. I like to read some of those things, and I pay for a subscription to a last night Substack. So I try to practice what I preach, and I engage with it too. One recommendation that I have is for Emma Girl. Emma Girl is, and it's spelled just like EMMA, Girl, is one of the better writers currently, and I think that, she could develop into somebody even more talented, but she is really good. Autofiction and nonfiction. Yeah, autofiction. What is autofiction? And I am a poet, by the way. Feeling weird after having sex with somebody is my home base. That's where I live, okay? So I don't mind reading it. I like it. I commented on Emma Girl's post, and she engaged right back with me. The people that purvey that kind of thing are just as talented or have just as much capacity to be talented as anybody else. I'm not familiar with this term autofiction, but I would be curious to learn more about it. I like to keep my lives interactive. Substack is great. It packages everything and gives you the clips to put into your marketing machine. If you want to learn more about how I grow my Substack, and I've grown inside of 3 months to 1,000 almost subscribers, then check out my publication for $8 a month. It's called Genre Growth. It initially focused just on growing your Substack, but there's no market for what I do on Substack. As mentioned before, it seems, in my experience, which as I always note is limited, because I'm a liberal and I have to apologize for everything, but we were originally coming over here to do music, but it seems to be primarily, there's no market here for what I do, which is fantasy fiction. That's it. like traditional. So I have to compile it into a book. Substack really failed me. I understand some people are making a living, but I think most of those people were already millionaires. And Substack, you should consider me for the Creators Fund because I'm real and honest, and I'm a hard worker. Also, I'm unemployed, and I don't want to die because my medications run out next month. I have to pay for my health insurance. If anyone knows of any work opportunities, please let me know. I'm a great worker. I wasn't fired for cause. I'm also interested in citizen journalists. And like I said, I'm here for the news. In a lot of ways, Substack could replace the news for me. A reminder that this live is going until 9:15. My lives are designed to be interactive and casual, just like those on TikTok, where I find most of my audience. gg.samliebl.com. That's SAMLIEBL.com. Or stack.samliebl.com. My book is free, and you are welcome to take it. There was originally a business model that did not work out. Serial fiction, just kind of like Star Wars. That did not work out. I'm currently sort of kicking my legs and like I'm in the Titanic water, trying to keep my head above it. But check out my poetry, and or if you're into like shorter stuff, check out the poetry. And then check out some of AFL the Bastard. It's the story of the son of a powerful duke who has to protect his country from enemies inside and out, all while guarding a secret so dark it would destroy everything he loves. So there's romance in it, there's action, adventure, military, even, I didn't know what this was, but body horror. The descriptions of medieval violence, while graphic, have been described as, what is the term that I just had in my head? Body horror, which is cool. I didn't know what that was, though. Autofiction is autobiological. Maybe you mean autobiographical, but maybe autobiological is another word. I don't know. Storytelling, blurring the lines of real events and fiction. Great. That's what that is. But it's not what I do. At least not. I think I do a lot of things in a sort of postmodern metatextual, narrative kind of way. Autobiographical story. Yeah, I mean, this is autofiction, what I'm doing right now. Done. But, right, so there's a difference, though, in terms of content, right? Billy Mann, welcome in, I see you. I was putting on some music. I'm going to take another coffee break. Again, these lives are casual. This one ends at 9:15. Welcome in, Billy. I see you. I see you, Melissa Smith. Feel free to keep the chat going. I can't guarantee that I'll listen to I will hear anything, but right now I'm going to do a quick music break. I usually start things off with Glorilla, but I did that this morning earlier on my Substack, and right now I'm just going to be putting on some Big X the Plug. The greatest poets working today are rappers. And no one cares. No white people care. Actually, I'm feeling sentimental. I'm going to put on Kevin Gates. Here's a two great little duology. I told you I was obsessed with the number 2 of songs off of his album of 2022, Kaza, named after his son, his second-born child that we know about. All right.
New Ferrari outside.
Enjoy Kevin Gates, I'm in love, and put that on everything. I got 2 phones like I'm Kevin Gates. I hope you guys have a nice morning. I'll be right back. Take care.
Turn my pain into passion, focal point to exit. Giving God praise and saying thanks for wrong ways. Humble out the gutter, came from nothing, he been working all his life. He met a plug, look like he came up overnight. I'm a dynamic human league, fresh off a movie scene. Racist judge found me guilty, sent me back to hell. Nominated for the Grammys, I went back to jail. My main man cooked me with my soul out. Picked him over beats on, I ain't got nobody. Well, you gon' listen to your heart, it could get so cloud. And all the crosses that you do, just know I know about. Knowing 2 wrongs gon' make a right. Never felt so alone in my life. Maybe this just means I'm in love. All praise to the creator of the stars up above. Now blessings rain down over us. When I I forgive you, you my Muslim brother. I hide your flaws, so right or wrong, we still gon' love each other. My other partner seen the beat and heard the call of Islam. We took him to the masjid as we proceeded in prayer. How the ones that wanna be just like me in their business. I know they really love me based off looking at their image. One thing you can't fake because the public pay attention. I be rocking solo and I pull up no security. I'm protected, I'ma die for this, don't try to take my jewelry. God bless me with a wife who really love me and some children. Just means I'm in love. All praise to the creator of the stars up above. Now blessings rain down over us. When I see the sunshine, it turn my pain into love. Maybe this just means I'm in love. All praise to the creator of the stars up above. Now blessings rain down over us. When I see the sunshine, it turn my pain into love. All the way, and my brain's in the road. All the way, eyes on the eyes, all the way. I ain't just got out of jail, I was slow. I wasn't in the mix. Really late. Alone in my solitude, looking at the stars. Alone in my solitude, looking at the stars. Perspective was out of focus, I'm frequently losing focus. Feelings in the way as I battle with old emotions. 10 toes down, I'm standing up in devotion. I was born again, I'm finally having motion. Forgive me for my sins, I'm knowing they see me growing. Protect me from my friends, I'm knowing that they opposing. Jerome looking at me, he just smiled. I meant to say Jerome Craft, I'ma make you proud. Thanking God for what I am experiencing right now. They look up the gates, look inside of everybody's image, see a touch of gates. Had a good friend, but you killed it, threw my love away. Now they in their feelings, cause they cannot get in touch with gates. Curveball trail, big God of the north. I'm slinging raw, seeking no applause when I talk. The godmother came to me, told me I was sacred. The world gonna be grateful, the other ones gonna hate you. Gangsta reason right here, guiding me through the matrix. J Real, I appreciate all of the conversations. Although I was hard-headed, still reaching my destination. I got uptown hustle, I come from up the big London. Showing love, expecting nothing, the money come in abundance. Showing love, expecting nothing, the money come in abundance. It's about that time, almost time. Not right now, about that time. I got them in the slow cooker, you heard? With the roof gone, selling whole thing. Rocking glass house cashed out, now we up in rank. Remember when I used to sag my pants everywhere I go? But you know, I'ma show my ass everywhere I go. Now she calling me on speed dial, want a retrial. Hell court, you ain't beat trial, you can leave now. Now I'm speaking up in cold, had my back against the road. They was steady throwing jabs, hit them with the overdose. I just gave them a little dab and they caught an overdose. I was praying in the rose, now we in the Holy Ghost. All alone in my solitude, looking at the stars, wondering if Meek Mill ever miss Nicki Minaj. When you taking care of everybody, shit get kinda hard. When you come up in the ghetto, you don't kill and you get robbed. When you come up being broke, we would share the same clothes. Hardest thing for me to do is let my main go. Elevating mentally, I hope he know that I love him. Relationships with toxicity are counterproductive. Now these labels hit the horn on the phone all day. Assistance needed in the office down a long hallway. Bitch, I'm turned up now. And I can't turn down. $100 million check, me and Drake turn down. Done with pharmaceuticals, ain't selling my soul. Lot of diamonds, I'm already shining, platinum and gold. I've been on a long road, I know life is not fair. God bless me with an angel, not somebody that's rare. And I realized that when she playing my hair, when she rubbing my face, pick the bumps off my back. Look at all of that ass, what you doing all that? Know it's jam, bacon jelly, not shaking like that. Now we in my big truck, taking road trips. Focus trying to keep it in the road still. I promise I'ma keep on being a lover. I already got a lover, so I cannot be a lover. You're not committed to anything, you distracted by everything. I put that on everything. Got forges on everything. Got forges on everything. I put it on everything. I put it on everything. Now we in my big truck, taking road trips. Focus trying to keep it in the road still.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Hey, Ricky Sutton. Bestseller. Jan Young, Billy Mann.
I don't like to talk about stepping.
So this is a freewheeling live where it failed. I was trying to run Substack live through my phone. I'm collecting data, hopefully as a something to assist citizen developers and independent journalists. So I conduct my lives. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Liebl. I just came back from a quick coffee and break which is how I like to start the mornings. To report back in and let you know that this live is going to last until 9:15. It is very much a live pattern in the tradition of book talk lives or TikTok lives, and I'm excited to be a part of the cutting edge. Who is this for? Citizen developers who just want to know what's up. What can they do? I recommend 2 phones, like Kevin Gates. I recommend 2 phones. All failings of the app right now are Substack's fault for bolting on a social media network to a successful publishing business. So don't blame me, blame Substack. Any clipping is a result of Substack. And Substack is an extremely beneficial publishing platform. I think it is a good way to democratize independent publishing, potentially. I mean, it's gotten the best so far. That said, it's not good, for me. So it's not good for me. It might be good for you. So there are 3 basic things, like genres per se, that I think Substack boils down to. I feel weird after sex last night, news, and sort of generic essays, about any number of things. And I, first of all, for the first one, I'm here for it. I'm a poet, so I literally, grew up in that environment. I felt weird after sex every time I've had it, so don't even worry about that. I'm here for it, and I subscribe and recommend Emma Girl as a good exemplar of that genre. Emma Girl, spelled exactly like it sounds. I subscribe to her and pay. But the pecuniary aspect brings me to my key problem and beef with Substack. Substack is just a bunch of writers and people who are here for the I feel weird after sex last night essays, right? So that is not who pays for shit. Writers suck, right? You guys have heard me harp on this even within the same live. I am a writer myself, so I know firsthand that we don't pay for shit. Okay, we are vindictive, petty, jealous assholes, and I'm one of them. So, but I came in here with the 10 subscriptions that I talked about. I sent them out, and really didn't get anybody. Most of my paid subscriptions are friends and family. So I recommend not putting all your stacks into Substack as a way to get you the word out there about or achieve your goals in any way, except if you fall into one of those 3 aforementioned categories. If you think there is an additional category or more, I would love for you to chime in on the chat. These are kind of a traditional live, if there is such a thing. We were talking about autofiction. Autofiction is the other one. Sorry. I'm going to replace, I get 1 mulligan per live. That's what I give myself. I get 1 take back per live, because all this is recorded and disseminated via the Substack marketing machine, which is quite effective. They're good at publishing, and they're good at disseminating your work or providing you with the tools to do so and getting paid while doing it. But the social media network hasn't been the same since Emma Horstick. And if you get that joke, you're a real OG. Emma Horstick was a bot that was like the kindest bot. So kind and so unique that I have a conspiracy theory that Substack planted it in there. And that's just the kind of thing I think they would do. Side note, has anyone had a support ticket answered by Substack who's not a millionaire? If you've never stepped foot on a private jet and you've talked to someone who works at the company Substack, please put it in the chat. I haven't had a support ticket answered in the 90 days I've been on Substack, and I've grown my Substack from 0 to 1,000. I feel like I should get a support ticket answered, and none has been. Shame on you, Hamish McKinsey. You're prioritizing millionaires over what you could be doing. I give no fucks. I lose my health insurance at the end of the month. So, fuck you. And fuck Substack. I love you guys. Thank you. Okay? I just need to kind of get that emotion out there. Because there's anger here. And there's going to be anger in a lot of people very soon. I was laid off in October of last year. It took away everything that I loved. Right? Jan Young, I see you. Ricky Sutton, I see you. For some reason, Ricky Sutton is stuck to the bottom of the chat. Probably because he's got a check mark by his name. But Ricky, let me know. And if you have never stepped foot on a private jet and still have had a support ticket, I would love to be proved wrong. What is the inside track? How do you do it? If you're still here. My heart is inured. Excellent. We got a huge comment. Melissa Smith. Not as popular, but of course I like fiction, especially absurdist writers. You might like me, but even my fave, Chuck Palahniuk, has a big audience, but could be bigger. Sorry, it is hard to read. Nico, welcome in. We're talking about how Substack fails in live broadcasting from your desktop, but is a successful publishing mechanism and does an excellent job of empowering you automatically to get your message out there, right? Now I'm reading a long comment. I love another thing about Substack. It is the potential for it to be a really engaging it already is a long form potential thing. So I want to read Melissa's comment for Nico too. Nico is I won't put her on the spot, but it's been a pleasure to start working with her. She's very talented. If you're looking for an editor, you should consider her and reach out to her. I think she'd be okay with it. Please do so on Substack. We're already here. Melissa Smith says, not as popular, but of course I like fiction, especially absurdist writers. But even my favorite, Chuck Palahniuk, has a big audience, but could be bigger. Not a top dog compared to others. He did something cool, though, and opened a contest for Substack writers to get a spot on his upcoming anthology. That'll be heavily marketed by a Big 5 publisher. I made it to top 45 out of 2,138 submissions, but got cut. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. I would love to know what getting cut means. Melissa Smith says, wish more big writers would do similar. I like anthologies. There's a group of Substackers releasing anthologies I plan to buy. Good for you, Melissa. Good for you. Thank you. I see you. Thank you. I think that's great. Nico. I can only do it. Nico, but so I love the idea of hosting Substack Lives from my desktop. I love that idea, right? Now, we talked about earlier on this live, and I'm hoping that it'll clip it, but you can skip around, like do a Control F or a Command F in the transcript. The transcripts that Substack generates are very good. The transcripts are very good. And that's why, and Nico, what I was thinking about in terms of a hook, I've had my coffee, so just bear with me. In terms of a hook for our article is everyone who's bitching and moaning about AI on Substack, right? Oh, covers and, is missing the point. Substack replaced its support staff basically with AI because I was bitching and moaning earlier on this call this live, that I've grown my Substack, I think, in a not insignificant way. I've never met a double negative that I didn't like. But, they haven't talked to me ever. They've, I want to emphasize, I've learned, even on this call, I've learned that there's a term called autofiction that I plan to investigate more. I've recommended a fellow author whom I pay for and do so gladly, Emma Girl. I recommend her. I recommend engaging with her if you don't pay. I think she's a talented writer. And I wanted to it was important to me because I like her writing, but also because it's kind of like, it's a way to introduce new things. That is another thing I love about Substack is the diversity of opinion and cogently argued opinions. Taking me out of the equation, I've met so many smart people here, truly smart people. And Nico, back me up on this if you're still here. And if you're not, I totally get it. You're probably at work right now. But let me know if this take, basically, I forgot what I was going to say, but I'll remember it once I, take the pressure off but taste, the taste. You're a person, I consider you've got taste, right? Like we're talking about matters of taste. And that ultimately is what I do. And if you want to subscribe to Genre Growth, LOL shit, says Nico. Nico says, mm-hmm. I love Nico. She always engages with me. Hey, you know what? I'm banned from TikTok Live, but I'm not banned from Substack Live. So I'm going to go where I can live. I do miss my morning battles, but that's neither here nor there. So Substack, I try to be fair to Substack because I'm happy to be here. I want to continue, and I kind of want to found my business, which I see to be, Melissa, back to your earlier point, my vision, my dream for like what I want the next 5 years of my life to look like is to start a new kind of publisher and use Substack to do it. I think it has the potential to do that. And what I'm talking about is just a pulp fiction magazine, but one for thinking readers, you know? Like everyone is, if you're reading, you're thinking, okay? If you're reading, you're thinking. And just real quick, Nico, it's gonna end here at 9:15. So it's gonna end here at 9:15, by the way. I do blocks of an hour. And this is also an experiment, you know, do a Command F in the transcript. And one thing, if you're selling, you're repeating yourself. If you're selling something, you're repeating yourself. Nico, I've been implementing your recommendation of those book trailers, flawed though they are, and I know that they are flawed, okay? Flawed though they are, they're designed to be different and look like movies. Because originally, Ethel the Bastard was supposed to be a Netflix animated series, so that, you know, kind of in the vein of Star Wars, but like erudite, which, you know, I like that when you said like, that explains your erudition. Pulp Fiction magazine where, right? So John, here, right on Substack, because that is what I think Substack currently is built for. But I want to do fantasy and thinking like, but everyone who's reading is thinking. But at the same time, I want to do like go beyond that. Here's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. It's called Arrival. Has anyone heard of Arrival? It's a great movie, and it's based on a short story. Not top in fiction, no. I just want to make books that are web first. So in the concept of UI, right, user experience, thank you for the stars. Hey, Nico, does this look familiar? Nico and I are TikTok buddies. Sometimes I send her covers, never in the DMs, but I am there because I think that if we can transpose some of the fun and vibrancy and internationalism of TikTok, we've got a good chance at building a genre fiction audience. So I wanted to include stories like that which Arrival was based on, which is just a phenomenal movie, like sci-fi almost, but just barely a bit of magic. Like Ethel the Bastard is Earth, just with a little bit of magic. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, who I think is an underrated director. Yes, Melissa, I think it's cool too. That I think is at present, it's what I should have started out doing. That's how much I believe that Substack is built for news organizations. And why I really enjoy, here's my Clinton thumb. You know, President Bill Clinton always had this, because it's not threatening, right? It's not one of these, but it's also not a finger, which is admonishing, so they say. I'm a big believer in body language. If you show your hands more, it may seem at first, but you're more trustworthy, I promise. Magical realism. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, 100 Years of Solitude, you nailed it. Bingo. You got it. Short, auto, magical realism at scale. Noble Blend, I always love to see you. You're coming in just at the tail end. But, as always, Substack does a few fundamental things really great in lives. For me, I'm interested in bringing audience members away from, you know, by the way, time and attention are the most valuable two assets or resources that we have today. And by being here and talking to me, you've given me a little bit or more of your attention and your time, and I'm grateful for it. So Substack Lives have engagement rates, if you're into that sort of marketing detail, and I know you kind of are, Nico, but if you are interested in engagement rates, I would imagine that Substacks would be off the charts when it comes to lives. Book Talk, you're just like, it's like, to me, Book Talk is like opening up a storefront in a bazaar. And I'm not talking about bizarre, although it does often get bizarre. I'm talking about a bazaar with 2 A's. And I just basically show up and start like, you know, doing this. That's my little homemade sign, AFL, the bastard, stack.samliebl.com, free book. A bizarre bazaar. Like, and you know what? That's gotten me readers. And that's my, like, once I started viewing it as work, like, this is what it looks like to be an independent creator, by the way. So this live, to kind of embody this live began as an experiment. Well, I'm going to start tying things off because I got to take a break. I'll get on live this afternoon. I like to kind of do lives earlier in the morning because then they get disseminated throughout the morning rush during the week. And there is a morning rush on Substack. You will notice it very quickly if you follow this closely. And then there's an evening rush during the weekdays. Saturday and Sunday. That's why, by the way, Nico, I want to release that article that we are planning on Friday. Nico and I'm very excited to announce, are collaborating on an article about what I mentioned earlier with regard to the fact that I feel Substack is failing authors and writers and commentators at my level by having ostensibly outsourced their entire or much of their support organization to AI. All I can get is a chatbot. So I've done what is called yeoman's work, which is not quite an American idiom anymore, but it's Thomas Jefferson said that we should all be yeoman farmers. That was his big deal, right? You know, I have an ambivalent opinion of Jefferson, but he's a great writer. He's one of my, like, Lincoln and Jefferson. You want to know some influences of mine on writing? Those guys. For my money, you need three poets. You need three poets, you know, as far as I'm concerned. Dylan Thomas, Emily Dickinson, and Hart Crane. The incomparable Hart Crane. I basically try to rip him off. Noble blend. And that's the other thing. What TikTok will teach you is that, you know, sharing is caring, so to speak. But I was talking about an announcement for an article where we're talking, Nico and I are releasing it on Friday. And let me backtrack up from there. I got onto that topic. I kind of think inside out and backwards. But when it goes to, there's the rush. That, Nico, is why I wanted to think about Friday, because I think that we can kind of do an optimal thing. And I would also be willing to do a formal podcast. I generally don't like to do them, but knowing that, like, it'll promote the article, and then we can do the clips thing, right? Because you can all do that behind the wall, so to speak. You've got the draft version. Substack is a great publishing tool. It really is. I say that freely. It keeps things locked behind the draft wall, and you can dynamically update it. The original vision of AFL the Bastard was to, in Walt Whitman fashion, i.e. Leaves of Grass, have this be regularly updated. It is. I've talked about a lot of things in the last 2 minutes, Noble Blend. It is probably publishing. Yes, it is a phenomenal publishing tool that I believe there's some segment of the company that's trying to jump on a trend, which is the live as a channel. As a channel. I see the live as a channel. I'm talking about channels in the sense of video, text, live, any way of transmitting information. Why is live different than video? Well, once this live becomes a video, it is a video. It no longer becomes a live. The channel live is me talking to Noble Blend right here, right now. That, I believe, in tech is the next great innovation that is coming. And I believe innovation in tech is dead until proven otherwise. I think the last great innovator, although apparently a huge dick asshole, I don't know, well, apparently he was just a dick, Steve Jobs. Say what you will about the guy, but I could host this right now. Nico, we talked about this a little bit. I mentioned it. But do you know that I believe that citizen journalists, citizen developers, which you turned me on to, I didn't know about this. I believe that it is a more robust solution to have two phones. I'm not kidding. And there are more people in this country, at least, who have two phones of a quality high of a type, a smartphone, running Android running, by the way, Andor is great. The series on the second season just came out. Highly recommend it. But have a phone running Android and or iPhone or iOS And it is the more robust solution because the build quality on these things, this is an iPhone 13 mini. Right now I'm streaming to you on an iPhone 11. So we've got, I like a small phone for my main phone. I like a big phone for my backup phone, right? I only have Substack downloaded on my big backup phone because that's how you can, the only way you can do lives. And to bring it all back to a point, Nico, at this point, if you don't want to do live and you want to do a podcasting, I think is kind of another channel, although that combines a lot of elements of live and audio, which is another channel. But it's more scalable, believe it or not, to empower people with these tools. The most destitute among us don't. Mercedes de Santiago, buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? Yo trato hablar español en mis lives. Eu falo portugués de TikTok Live. Pero yo soy banned. What is up with like bebida? Ibiza. To me, it's not as felicitous on the ears. Now, I am talking about American idioms, so I rarely hear Ibiza. I hear Ibiza. But to me, still Ibiza, I'm an American to the core when it comes to usage. I get a kick out of using rigorous Chicago-style spelling and lack of Oxford commas in a Baroque and Byzantine medieval world, where I try to emulate some of the things that happened during that time. But Nico, it does not seem like you could really do much without you can't do anything without a phone, period. Can't do anything without a phone. And very Midwest. Yes, I was born in Illinois. Corn-fed All-American, but the thesis, the kind of takeaway from this, and I'm hoping Substack does a great job of auto-packaging your clips too. If you talk like this, if you make a point like that, then you can really, generally, have a clip that's generated. Now let's see if that's what happens. Thank you. Bam. If you do deliver it with that cadence, right? If you deliver it with that cadence, that has a higher likelihood of becoming a clip, and you just download it and post it. They're prepackaged. I highly recommend it. A phone for everything. When I talk about a pulp magazine that's designed to be digital first, I designed AFL the Bastard has been has been percolating for 6 years or more, right? I've sketched a million covers. I draw. Nico, I know that you draw too. And let me say this. Let me end on this. For all the people bitching and moaning about AI, I feel bad. This is Nico. If you're still here, Nico, if anyone's still on here, I stand on fucking business. I got a moleskin with a pen, like a basic white bitch, okay? Like a basic. I'm a basic, okay? Boom. Earlier, by the way, Nico, I don't know why I've got to pull back and stand like this. Leo rising. But earlier, here's a problem with Substack Lives. I think your last name is so cool. Harlequindon. I hope I'm saying it right. You pronounced it for me one time. Nico's also really cool. But I hope that's your pen name. But I was trying to do this, right, to show you how non-AI I am, right? This is how it happens. Hello, buenos dias, Mercedes. I hope that you did not take offense to my earlier comment about what I called a lisp. I believe it has a more technical name. Basic, I'm a basic, But Nico, the point that I was getting to was when I tapped on my screen, that turnaround button that turns the screen around, which is a cool piece of technology, by the way, when you think about it. But when I tap that, the end button that I'm pointing to right now in the screen, it's right next to it. So if you want to be walking around, no audio. Yep. Let me go next to my router. Yep, I got you. Better? You know, this is kind of another thing, right? I bet I would have better results if I did data. Yes, good. So I'm just showing you, sorry. Let me spare you my bachelor pad. Back, good. I am going to end things here. Check out a short but sweet muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado. I'm missing my Brazilians. I miss them. But they'll do fine. I'm still on TikTok. Follow me at Chai Phillips. Yeah, bookshelf tour. And everyone, by the way, leave, because this is kind of like, imagine like the closing music credits playing. But I love the Shelfie Sunday. Sorry. See, as I move further away from my router, if I'm on Wi-Fi, it starts to lag. Again, why I was talking about this was just because, let's say you're a group of people that I'm passionate about supporting in some kind of way. Citizen journalists, which Nico turned me on to, and independent is citizen developers, and independent journalists. Let's say I'm at a protest. I'm walking through, I'm doing this, you know, it's an okay thing. And then I want to turn the camera around. I instantly, let's say I click end. Look, lives are fugacious, right? They are ethereal, right? They're temporary. That's the fun of them, but that's also a limitation. Just as audio doesn't have a visual aspect, every channel is limited in some way. But this is kind of intimate. It's nice. I like it. It's been edifying. But if Mercedes hadn't logged on when she logged on, she would never. And Mercedes and I are already connected, and I highly recommend her. I pledged my support to her publication, and I don't speak Spanish. Looks like I was lagging there. Let me pull out one book, because I think my phone is on its last legs. Let's see. How about this? Graphic novels are a huge inspiration for me. So for my Shelfie Tuesday on Book Talk, there's Shelfie Sunday, which is a trend that's fun. I'm all about trends. I think they're fun. But From Hell. I love doing this too. From Hell by Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell. It is the story of Jack the Ripper told... Sorry. Shut the fuck up. Okay. We're about to. Love this. Yeah, I love it. Just a great book. Recommendation. So, what are my recommendations? I try to end on recommendations to help you grow your audience. Again, if you like this sort of thing, genre growth is gg.samliebl.com. Subscribe to one of my publications, because my main publication is free, and I've already committed that it's free forever, so it's too late. No problem. From Hell is a classic by the same author as The Watchmen. I recommended Emma Girl, and I recommend you watch at least some of this live. Maybe do a transcript search for some of the keywords that you're into. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts very much. But I recommend checking out the transcript for a few key details. At various points throughout the live, there are good kind of thoughts that I hoped will kind of transform into clips or be able to be easily clippable. I kind of think in that way. But finally, check this out. The limitations of this live were the limitations of what a lot of people in this country face. Middle-class average people who want to take action. So every time there was a lag in there, my network or Substack or some combination thereof was failing. I want to see people empowered with tools. And I think Substack does a good job of doing that. I don't really like some of the stuff that they're doing. I don't know. There's very little I have to complain about Substack. Most of it is things kind of beyond their control, to be honest. I really like it here. I hope I can stay. I'm still, they haven't gotten me yet. They did kick me off of Book Talk Live temporarily. I'll be back on May 26th. This is the second time I've been banned. I consider it a rite of passage. But anyway, talking to my agent, take care. Read Nico and my article when it comes out this Friday. It's already pretty much written. We're just going to add in some pictures pretty much. I'd like to add a little bit more to it if some more comes, but a lot of it I think we can derive from this. Like the hook to me is Substack, for all of the moaning, I'll take the other word out of it, for all the moaning that exists about AI on Substack, under our noses, under my nose, Substack replaced a lot of its people or never had them with AI. And now authors at scale, writers at scale, independent people who just want to do something with Substack at scale are not supported. And that to me is kind of one of the things that really sucks. And I hope that they change it. I'm here for the long haul. But take care. Muchas gracias. Muito obrigado. Check out From Hell. Emma Girl for autofiction. I learned what autofiction was. Goodbye. Thank you.